Hey, Raider Nation, how you guys doing this evening? Welcome to another great episode of The Unfiltered Truth. I'm your host, Phil Jones. Phil Robinson with me. No, we weren't on as much as last week. Been a crazy one, but we made it. We've gotten past preseason, and now we've completed the 53-man roster. Well, sort of completed the 53-man roster. And we have week 1 in our sights coming soon. But other than that, as always, subscribe to our YouTube page, The Unfiltered Truth. Phil. It's 50-man roster, man.
Well, you had put out a 53-man roster of your own and got fairly close to it. These cuts were pretty straightforward. There's some procedural things going. I know a lot. I see in the comment section, a lot of people are asking about some certain names, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the program. We're waiting for our featured guest, Mr. Black Hand Side. So whenever he chooses to jump in, is when
y'all know Corey probably smoking. Here he come. Look, I spoke this man into existence.
Shame him for his practices. Corey.
What up?
I get ready to tell this man for slandering your name and right on cue.
Hold on, I think I gotta turn my headphones on. So is it echoing?
No, you're good.
Oh, good. All right, cool. I was trying to finish this shit before I hit y'all, but I didn't want to be too late.
You know what? It's America. Hey, you can do what the hell you got to do. We pay taxes. Right. Shit.
I'm turning.
We pay by the hour.
I might have to go in the house though.
Oh, you good right there?
Because I don't know if my connection is good.
Hey, well, so far you coming in loud and clear, bro.
Okay, good. Because I'm comfortable in here.
Okay. I know that's your spot, man. That's like
right there in the Lexo.
Hey, this is where I be at all the time. I don't. You know what? It looks like I'm in the car all fucking day. It don't, but I smoke in here. I can't smoke in the house. I got kids and shit. So this is where I tweet from and shit like that. So it looked like I'm always in here. I promise I'm not homeless. It's a house over there. I promise. It's a house over there.
Oh man.
Anyway,
all right. So what we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about cuts. We're gonna talk about what?
We about to talk about the whole damn enchilada, homie.
All of it. The roster, what needs to happen, what's left, what additions need to be made, who's still possible to get traded out of this piece, and go through the rest of these little procedural jump off. So I got the list here, and I'll throw out names, and we'll give it a quick go round with what we saw this preseason and keep it pushing. That worked for you?
Shit. Fantastic, nigga. I don't want to do that much thinking.
I'm sure. I'm gonna help you. I'm right here for you. So player number 1 is tight end Matt Bushman was the first wave. When I looked at Matt Bushman, I looked at his tape and then I looked at some drills and he blocks like a robot. And he is the stiffest looking dude I've seen next to Cleveland Farrell in a long time.
Well, you got to look. The thing about it with what Bushman was mainly your receiving tight end back when he was at BYU. He was Wilson's go-to guy every second. I mean, the year that I would say last year they didn't have him because he had the Achilles injury right before the Navy game. And to be honest, he probably would have came out and probably got drafted maybe about the 3rd or 4th round. But yeah, he needs some work on his blocking. I noticed that he is very robotic with it. I think they're going to stash him on that practice squad like they did Bowers that came from out of Penn State last year. And he had a solid camp and preseason.
Well, I look at it this way, man. I looked at Matt Bushman, and I looked at the other one, number 81. I was calling by the numbers because shit changes, right?
Yeah.
I looked at Bushman and the 81, and I noticed a couple different things. Carrier, all of them. When Gruden likes somebody, he just gets a whole bunch of them motherfuckers that's the same. Him, they all look like the same dude to me. They all just look like another dude out there. He wants them all to be big, tough, rugged Jason Wittens or whatever, but they're not. They don't have that blocking. They don't have the grit. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a little bit of a lineman upstairs to be an effective blocking tight end. And those were receiving tight ends that didn't have that mentality. Not everybody can be Darren Waller. Not everybody can turn it on to just change some shit around. And whatever, man. I'm not excited about them. That's it.
Well,
Hey, look,
you don't have to be worried about that.
yeah.
So the next one, this one actually came as a bit of a surprise to me, was Lester Cotton Sr. Now, watching all of the backup linemen and how atrociously they played collectively and individually, I actually felt like Cotton was one of the better linemen that was out there.
Now, I looked at Cotton and I tried not to be. I had a little bit of a bias because I liked Cotton last year. I even said something about him this year. There's a little bit in terms of him handling interior pressure with speed and stuff like that. I don't know if that he has the footwork to hold up in the passing game. Now, he's a big, strong guy, big, heavy body, so he's going to do well in the running game. That's what you expect. But in the passing game, I don't know if it's a footwork problem or it's just a polish problem. He needs a little bit more work of that. He looks like Gabe Jackson, less polished.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's more of a little bit of polishing, just a little bit of touch up. Granted, it did look a lot better from when we first saw it, because when we first saw him doing pass protection, I was like, man, I need you to go back and go through the whole damn introduction of the book and all that good shit, because it wasn't looking hot. But this year looked a lot better with him doing his pass protection, but to Tom Cable standards, he's probably about like a year off. But I think stashing him on the practice squad as well, I think that would be solid. I mean, you remember last time when he came out there for that London game against Chicago, he did a solid job. Wasn't pretty in pass protection, but when you have him for run blocking, it was outstanding.
No,
that's possible, but they need help.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I ain't gonna deny
they
that.
Need help. They still need to sign 3 linemen. They still need to sign 3 offensive linemen.
Without a doubt, we'll get to that. We'll get there. Hold on, player. This ain't your show, but we will get to that. Next up is Matt Dickerson, the defensive tackle. Honestly, I don't care. Like, he was never going to play anyway with all the guys they brought in. It was just pretty much strictly to make sure that they kept their guys healthy.
Yeah, he was more like, it was just that extra body they just brought in. And that's all I saw it as being.
I don't think Dickerson was the extra body. I think he was actually brought in to contribute or do some different things and be the backup Jonathan Hankins. But when you have stuff like there's a couple other players that came in and maybe surprised, maybe playing a little bit better than you expected. You don't expect to get that kind of play from Phyline. You probably didn't expect to get that kind of contribution from McCoy, from a lot of these guys that still got it. And I don't think Dickerson is enough of a difference, man. How do you put him on the field, especially if you got to justify keeping somebody else that I'm sure we're going to talk about?
No doubt. So we move on to Keelan Doss, the wide receiver from Davis. Now, personally, I think he's going to be signed back to the practice squad as soon as he clears waivers. His body is looking the part. He's looking where he needs to be. He's a bigger guy, 6'3", 215. His route running has improved, but it's still not where it needs to be. I looked at some of his routes, and while he did get open, there were probably he probably entered his breaks in a solid 2 to 3 feet after he was supposed to, or where the true gap in the route was supposed to be. And you could really tell because it was just all over the place. And he would be open, but it would look like his window was smaller than it should have been. You feel me?
He wasn't gonna play. That's all I'm gonna say. He wasn't gonna play.
Well, they only carried 5 receivers, so it's not like he wouldn't have had an opportunity.
He wasn't gonna play.
Just this month, I went to a baseball game, a boxing match, and an opera.
Just this month, all of that. Jones.
Yo, do I need? Is it my phone that's jacked up? Because like you guys keep chopping up and stuff.
It might be.
I can hear you loud and clear.
We hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, you're coming in perfectly clear.
Oh, okay. Because I'm sitting here, I'm having to decipher it. Y'all motherfuckers sounding like robots. So maybe my signal is fucked off or something. And keep going in and out. I know I didn't smoke that much. I know I didn't.
That thing I can't that.
You playing now? Huh.
But no, we're gonna do a pushing. We're gonna keep it pushing. Moving on. We're going to BJ Emmons next. Emmons was he came in and he rushed, but I mean, you know, he like you said, Corey, he was never gonna play.
He wasn't gonna play, and it was gonna be hard to get him on the field. And I think the idea by having him there was for him to be Theo Riddick, Jalen Richard, or something like that. And he didn't separate himself in that type of a role. And then he didn't separate himself in a power kind of a role. He was pretty okay at both of them, and that's just not going to be enough to get on the roster.
No,
that's real.
No, that's it. You got anything to add, Jones?
I ain't got nothing to say because he just literally just took the words out my mouth.
I mean, you know, got the superstar over here. Normally he's the funny guy, but he got the football breakdown today. I'll go on with Jerry Green. Play what you got for Gary Green.
Well, did you say Gary Green? Is that what happened?
You know, you look at it and it looks like it should be Jerry, but it's really Gary. I fucked that up. That's my bad.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about Gary Green, I made it known. I like the guy, and especially he comes from Mississippi State. I like the speed. I like the athleticism. I like all that stuff. But if you just look at it, watch the preseason, the game was too big and too fast for him from a fundamental standpoint. Playing the read option, containing of him overrunning plays, you probably just can't risk that at this level.
No,
I agree. And oh shit, damn, we lost Corey.
Oh,
Nobody jumped back in. But no, I agree with what Corey was saying. And what I pointed out to you, you know, I think Chris Reed, you know, he had hooked me up with Gus Bradley's older playbook back when they were in Seattle. And the same play that he was running against Seattle week 1, where they gave up that lone touchdown, Gary Green messed up on his assignment. So he wasn't supposed to pursue on the screenplay. He was supposed to drop back and cover the flat. With that play design, he's supposed to drop back, cover that area where there's no running back running freely.
You know, it's bad weather. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I probably got to go in the house.
That'd probably be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to just do that, and then I'll be right back with y'all.
All right.
Okay. But yeah, just going back to that play, he had really whiffed on it big time. And like Corey said, when it comes down to handling like anything read option wise, he's always over pursuing. He just was out of place too many times. And, you know, that's the funny thing. A lot of folks saying that we don't need Cleveland Farrell. But you know what? When it came down to Cleveland Farrell handling the read option, he wasn't that bad. He knew to stay home.
No, when you look at anything that involved the run game was where he's going to make his hay at this level. He excels at run defense. He excels at setting the edge. He's patient. He's reading, verifying where the ball is. The problem is that the power aspect of his game did not translate. He is not muscling through guys like he was able to do at Clemson. The speed, that there is no speed off the edge. I mean, I had high hopes for him that he was going to be what we needed, but when I saw him in training camp the first time, I realized that it was like he had cement shoes on, and he just was never going to be that guy to come screaming off the edge. He's like,
man, I know it gave you like literally a heart attack when you saw him out there. You like, no, his footwork, man. It was like the first 15 minutes you were out there and you saw it that year. I see my phone buzzing while I'm at work. You like, no, his footwork. No, it's like looking at Forrest Whitaker trying to do drills.
Ooh.
Yeah, that came from your own mouth, homie.
Oof.
I was like, damn. I say you hurt my feelings off that.
Hey, sometimes it's got to be like that. We get real unfiltered around here.
Hold on. How many defensive players are going to play that might not be a fit for Bradley's scheme? To be honest,
not many.
Those guys are really gone. I say you probably had maybe one or two that are still there. But other than that, you know, a lot of these guys that they have currently, they're pretty solid. I don't think
well versed in this game at this point. And let me backtrack that. So initially we said only one or two. The reality is that there isn't anybody who's going to play for Bradley who does not fit his scheme. If you can't fit his scheme at this point, you've been shown the door. If you can't do what he's asking you to do at this point, you've been shown the door. And if you're not a fit for this and you're not contributing by the end of this season, you will be shown the door.
Yeah. Yeah, like so far, everybody that they have, they're pretty solid in the scheme. From the D-line, from your linebackers currently, and your secondary. Everybody fits the scheme. I mean, I know a lot of folks are like looking like, oh, is he going to be like elite in this? Is he going to be an elite player for that? And like, it doesn't work like that. Everybody's going to have a role. You're going to be in that rotation. You're going to have your first unit kind of roll in, and your second unit roll out. It's going to be so on and so forth. And that's what keeps you guys fresh. And I think that was one of the things that Gunther wanted to have for his defense, but the man was so discombobulated, he couldn't get it done. So
it's really hard to estimate what Gunther wanted or what he.
Well, you know, I kind of go back and what he was trying to do, what he did at Cincinnati the first 3 years, and how they wanted things running for that scheme fit. But when he came over here, the guys that you're getting, I'm like, okay, you know damn well he lacks that. He lacks that. And, you know, you're not even putting effort in really developing these guys. So you get what you get. Now, with this staff here, with Bradley, Smith, Marinelli, and Millis, they're taking the time and working with each and every one of these younger guys where they can be like, okay, I think we're satisfied with having Amik Robertson play on the outside versus him playing in the slot, like how they were trying to force him to do last year. Amik so far during the preseason has done a solid job. I'm not going to say like he's gone and done some amazing shit, but he's done a solid job playing on the outside. Look at how much they've been able to get. What do you say?
I said he's definitely done enough to justify his roster spot.
Oh, definitely. Well,
one of the things that I wanted to say on top of what Big Phil how do y'all want to do this? Is it they're both
Robinson and Jones?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that Jones said, um, I don't like to speak for coaches in terms of the things that they want or the things that they expect, or to judge Ron Miles. I don't want to judge those type of coaches. I don't know anything about them. I've never met them, never, none of that kind of stuff. So all I do is I take a look at the result of the work that they're doing, right? And if you take a look at the result and the things that they're doing, then you can be satisfied. So I don't know very much about them yet and what they've done. Like Tom Cable, I can talk about him because I saw him change Colton Miller into what Colton Miller is now. I saw him take a really ragtag unit, and all of a sudden we got a good line now. So I can talk about that kind of coach. But Miles and those guys, I'm not ready to talk about them yet. You know, if they really found Nate Hobbs and he really is what his small sample size is, well, shit, I'm Ron Miles fan, but I don't know yet.
I don't know. Like, reason why I say it because I go off of what he did with San Diego and then what he did with Los Angeles, with Chargers overall. What he did with their defense.
Like you knew about that, and I don't. That's why I wasn't talking about it.
Okay, I got you.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you guys did that homework and I didn't.
All good, bro. It's all good.
All good. We dive deep around here. And so to your point about what you said, what I can tell you is I've seen some differences in the way that some of these defensive backs go about their business, the way that some of these players go about their business. Like we'll take the number one whipping boy of last year, Tanner Muse. This guy was a fucking bum, a bust. You didn't want nothing to be like, this dude injured his toe and is nowhere to be seen. This fool gonna mess around and start this year.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. We'll see. I just want to say something about Muse real quick. I don't know much about him. I don't know if he can play or not, but I know he played fast as a motherfucker. I know that. That's not just 40 time. So if he gonna make a mistake, he gonna make a full speed mistake, but he played fast.
No, and you can and that can be coached, that could be molded like Bradley said. You put that in a proper package, and it's something that I've been crying for and screaming about for years, is that why don't you have players do what they do best? Why do you take a guy and then ask him to do something completely different than what he's been doing his entire life?
Right. Get a different guy if that's what you want to do.
I'm like, I know, I understand the need for versatility, and everybody says this guy's versatile. Versatility has not worked for this team. Get me a dude who does one thing good, and I'll find 10 other guys that are complementary pieces that do each thing good, and they all do their job. And as long as everybody does their job collectively, it will be good together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I could be on fashion with that. You know, I do. Don't get me wrong. I like a little bit of versatility, but I like to win, and I haven't seen any in a long time.
Right. No, you're right. That's all it is, man. We got to simplify all this stuff because a lot of times we all have opinions on, I think this. Nigga, you're not winning, right? Yeah. You're not winning. Regardless, I want to say somebody's good and somebody's bad. At the end of the day, if you don't win, they're not good enough. Whatever you're doing is good enough. Whether you don't got the right players. So, yeah, I agree with Robinson.
He's right on that one. I like where your head is on that.
I mean, it's just so painfully obvious that it's hard to believe that nobody else has seen it.
I mean, you have to, but you get egos. You know what I'm saying? Here's the problem: by the time you get to the NFL coaching level, a lot of those guys have been a head coach at a high level somewhere, whether it's going to be high school or JUCO or something. Now you got all these egos in the building, and all of them have different philosophies. I think if all of them had that same philosophy that you have, then obviously, duh, nigga. But everybody wants to do something different. Everybody wants to do something different. They got the best defensive scheme in the world, so you're gonna do this. And that shit don't make sense, but it happens. I've been on a couple coaching staffs. It's gonna happen.
No, I agree. It will, but that's a poor coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
But let me run down these last little bit of wave players real quick, and then we can move on because we seem to have gotten that way already. Garrett Groshek, Devery Hamilton, Isaiah Johnson. I kind of expected, honestly, real quick to say something about that. When I seen the picture of dude all the way about 200 yards away from the scrum, I was like, cut this dude. Cut him now. Cut him. Cut him now.
Damn,
I was
like
listen,
throwing the damn towel.
You didn't want to throw a punch, fine. But you should have been out. You should have been in there trying to break the shit up.
Fake it to make it.
You behind the coaches, bruh. You behind the coaches, bruh.
Over there.
I'm sorry, but
it was bad.
I had to let that be known real quick. We can continue. I'm sorry. Jared Jones-Smith, horrific. Dallin Levitt, I don't understand what he did at special teams that was good enough to justify the money that he got. I'm glad he's gone. Jimmy Morrissey, I expect to see him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Potozzi, goodbye, sir. Trey Regis, practice squad. Max Richardson, practice squad. Niles Scott, if they can, they'll probably put him on the squad. Same with Dylan Stoner and DJ Turner. Kendall Vickers is kind of going to be in the win. They outright released John Brown. Now, there was a report that he asked for his release. I find that amazing that he asked for his release right at the end of the fourth preseason game when he was playing late into the fourth quarter and still not producing. Derek Carrier, Carl Joseph, never heard anything about him. Thought maybe he could be something, but ultimately, after he blew out his knee at West Virginia in his last season, he was never the same. Patrick Omame was god awful.
Don't ever bring that man up, bro.
Oh my God, this man was terrible. Listen, I hope he gets better. I hope he finds a way to continue his career, but I'm glad he's not doing it with the Raiders. Bleedy Ray Wilson never got the run.
Nah.
So that is, let's see, anybody else? And then we have the guys. How is it that Keyshawn Nixon, Nevin Lawson, Jalen Richard are still on the team, I think, and they're all going to be either on the injury reserve or the suspended list, which is going to take them off of the 53-man roster. So technically, they don't need to be cut.
I'm tripping. I want Keyshawn Nixon to be on the team. I'm the last motherfucker on earth.
Wow.
Know that.
Wow.
Shut up.
Wow.
Fuck with cuz. He needs to be on the team. He does. He brings a mentality. He does play well on special teams. That's it. But the other ones, there's really no surprise aside from Joseph. I wanted Joseph to play. But, I mean,
I think the whole thing with Joseph, it was just getting real odd that you didn't hear anything about him in practice. You didn't even see him suit up for that the practice they had at Allegiant. Nothing at the joint practice, nothing at preseason number 2, but all of a sudden preseason number 3. Now I get with Gerald McCoy finally seeing him like preseason number 3 because he came in around the week we were getting ready to get set up with the Rams. I kind of get that. But
it's the cold.
Carl looked like he's lost a step.
There's no way for me to say whether he did or he didn't or something. I just think if you come in hurt and you're not on the practice field, I mean, whether you're supposed to or you're not, Gruden is going to hold that shit against you. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody that's hurt, what can he do for you? What can he do?
You know he shows no passion for you. There's no mercy. He cold-blooded.
You can't play, you're of no use to him. That's the old school way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Flexibility is availability. Don't ever forget it.
Hold on one second.
Well, let's just put it on pause for the Corey show real quick.
I'm sorry. I'm good.
but no, like you brought it up earlier. this team needs at least 3 more offensive linemen because the reserves were bad, scary bad. In fact, this reserves were so scary bad that it got me to thinking that about why they were going to possibly keep Jalen Richard, because I was just like, bro, it appears that they have a lot of problems getting guys blocked coming off blitz coming off the edge. A lot of those guys were coming free. And this offense is going to go nowhere with Carr under center and guys coming free. He will throw that ball at the ground without taking 3 steps out of a 3-step drop. He's not going to hold the ball with somebody coming free off the edge. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, in terms of doing that kind of stuff, I think in the middle of the offensive line, they're gonna be okay. Because Johnson, he's got some technical things and some rookie mistakes, but he's gonna be really good. They're solidified across that middle. And now the thing that sucks is like, how much is Denzel Good gonna play? Is he gonna be flexed outside? And because they don't have the tackle depth at all. And as long as you have number 75 locked on your roster and he's locked in there based on the other guys, that's not good. That's not good. It's not good. It's not good enough because he's a liability and the people that back him up are a liability. They're going to have to find somebody. I mean, David Sharp is on the street.
See, thank you. Thank you. This man literally sees what I was seeing. Why did you let go of David Sharp?
Oh, well,
that was one of the dumbest things you did.
No, well, because you was going to have to pay him. You was going to have to pay him a little bit. He went to Washington and got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't good enough to be a starter. He's not somebody that you have to prioritize.
But I put it like this. Dealing with the inconsistency of Trent Brown and Sam Young last year, I think having David Sharp would have been a little bit better than having Sam Young.
At this point, if you bring in David Sharp and you have Brandon Parker and you continue to keep Brandon Parker on the left side, which I've said that he was the best on the left side when watching him.
Well, I mean, that was his natural spot back when he was at North Carolina A&T.
He need to be on the outside of the roster.
He's gotten better compared to what we saw.
Look, I'll say it like this, and regardless of how you feel about it, he was the best backup lineman that they had.
It's the tallest midget. No. No. He's
the tallest midget.
He's not gonna. Here's the thing. If you have a player on your roster and you're gonna be concerned, fucking scared every time he gets on the field, what does that tell you? If he gets on the field and let's just say this, okay, it's 3rd and 13, it's the 4th quarter, we're down by 4, and he's on the field, and you don't even give a fuck who's lined up across from him. You're scared. You're scared we're gonna get a sack. You're scared because you've seen him play before. And if that's the kind of thing that comes to mind, you got to look around. Matter of fact, even know as an offensive lineman, the casual fan shouldn't even know who the fuck you are.
I ain't gonna lie, I did grab the damn rosary when my man was coming out there. I ain't gonna lie. I grabbed the rosary, I lit the candles. I said, Lord.
So listen.
I won't drink that bottle of tequila tonight, please.
Listen, when we saw Brandon Parker come out the last time for the first time, I could feel the collective air out of the stadium let out through my TV with no fans in attendance, bro. It was just like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah. So,
hey, bro, everybody's blood pressure just shot up. Yo.
And I don't want to just talk bad about him. It's just things, but a lot of bad things happen when he's on the field. Like there's a lot of turnovers. If you got ball security issues with your quarterback, if your quarterback is scary and he starts running around and he gets jumpy and he gets happy feet, you can't have a player that can't match that. You can't have a player on the field that can't do that. I think what they were trying to do is they took long, lanky Colton Miller and made him a guy. And it's like, oh, you know what? We'll just do it again. And it's not working. It's not working. It don't work with everybody.
No, that's real. No, that's real.
Nah, I can't say nothing on that one, bro.
It's nothing to say. But you know what? Instead of all the negativity, is there some players that you guys saw that you were like, God damn? I don't know if I missed it, but if there were some players that you guys saw that you are pleasantly surprised, whether it's going to be their development or just somebody new.
Phylon in terms of somebody new, just dog, straight animal down there. Goon. You look at his team picture. Dude is a straight goon. I love it. That's what you ain't used to seeing on the Raiders defensive line. Bunch of nice guys, the type want to reach up, dap you up, give you a hug, ask you about the family. No, this dude is
he sizes you up.
This dude is a goon, and I love everything about it. And now the other dude that I just have absolutely, I'm on a Nate Hobbs train, bro. full speed ahead. Choo choo. Let's roll. I'm riding with Nate.
I don't know how good he is technically, given the people that he was playing against, and then my own knowledge of defensive backs. I don't know how good he is technically, but bruh he plays hard as shit.
Yep.
He plays fast as shit. And hope the little sample size we got, I hope that's what he is. If that's what he is, we got a guy. But there's no way to say that off of 5 or 6 highlight plays.
No, not well. I tell you, there is a way to say that, and the reason why I say that is because we always say that when you play lesser competition, you're supposed to blow them out. You're supposed to make a splash. Well, the only person that was consistently making a splash in every game they played in was Nate Hobbs. Now the turnover when he hits the ones, once he hits the ones, it may not be the same. But what I saw against the lesser talent justifies him going up against the ones. And not only that, it shows me that at this stage, he's got that much more room to grow. So he may not be fully where he's supposed to be right now. But if you give him 2-3 years, bro, that boy gonna be nice, boy.
Tell me, boy.
That boy gonna be nice, a gold piece, boy.
Hey, but hold up, just playing on the outside as well?
Outside, inside, I was told he was just a special teamer, but you know what I'm saying? We don't know nothing around here.
Yeah, I mean, shit. If you like it, I love it. I mean, you sold the hell out of it. I'm hyped up about him. I don't know that much. I don't know that much about him, but the little bit that I've seen, I really, really like. And I just hope that
Lovey coached him up at Illinois.
Yeah.
Who did?
Lovey
Smith.
Ah.
Back over in the Big Ten.
Ah, that's where that shit come from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, seeing him up close my first year, boy got talent. Now he had that little hiccup, and then he left the school, and then came back.
What hiccup? What are you talking about?
Now you said we keeping the positive. We're gonna keep leaving it.
Yeah, it was a hiccup, and he redeemed himself. We just keeping it as that.
He got in some trouble or some shit.
Yeah,
hiccup, and we just keep it pushing.
But he stepped up to the plate and took care of business. He came back and then still handled more business. To be honest, he was one of the main bright spots on that defense when he came back.
You making it sound like this motherfucker's a hit man. Like, I want to go see what he did. I mean, but to be honest with you, okay. For the most part, we've got a lot of high character guys. I'm over it, nigga.
I don't want to hear that.
I want high character. I want guys that used to bitch slap you and then strangle you a little bit.
I need felons and thugs. Okay, I need the baddest dude on the yard.
Right. Hey, I really don't give a fuck what you got going on. I don't care if you got to wear your monitor to the game. We need somebody.
Cover it up, put the bear cast on or something.
That's it. Bring it. Let's. I'm with that. Okay, we got Gerald McCoy, and he nice to people. So we need a whole bunch.
No. Gerald is nice when it comes to post game
to the media.
But when it come on that field, he said, "Bitch, get out my way."
Damn.
And I was just like, damn, he really, bruh, he abused that center so bad against the 49ers. Like, he had him on his ass, had him on his back, and had him on his front. I was like, damn.
And that's what he should have done, though, because
Absolutely.
he hasn't played a game in 2 years.
Exactly. And that was the whole thing. Everybody thought, was he going to be that guy that been out for a good year? It's been a whole year. Was he going to lose that step? Was he going to be under that realm of, is he washed up? Absolutely not. I don't care if he was going against first team, second team, or third string.
Yeah.
For him to still have that burst of speed that he carried back when he was with Carolina, and then you go back to Tampa Bay, that is solid. In my opinion, I feel that McCoy has a good 2-3 years left in him. And if you can get the best out of him right now on that defensive line, shit, I'll take it. I'll take it any day compared to what we've seen in the past couple of years. Because the past couple of years, it was some Billy bitch cake, patty cake shit going on, and I didn't like that shit.
So what, nigga?
Some Billy bitch cake, patty cake shit. And I'm hip. I'm right there with you because you sitting here talking, and I'm thinking, I can't wait to see Gerald McCoy paired up next to Phylon in the NASCAR package.
You have to. You gotta look
on the outside.
Corey, Phil, y'all gotta look. You have to look. The one thing we will always talk about being in the trenches, you can't be soft as shit. You need to get in the motherfucker's grill. You need to get up in his shit and knock his ass down. It's one-on-one that whole time. And that's the way that D-line works with Gus Bradley. You have to have the strength. You have to have the edge. If you don't have it, you will lose.
Okay. So in saying that, do you think that McCoy's going to be a starter? Do you think he's going to start on that line?
At some point, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to say he is.
Okay. So with him starting there, right, at defensive tackle, and then you got Hankins next to him, obviously, right? Yeah. So who's behind those guys?
Jefferson. Jefferson's going to be behind McCoy.
Okay. And then
Phylon, I'll put it like this. It's going to be a switch. So Jefferson could be on that side where Hankins is. And then you can have Phylon right behind McCoy. Or it could be vice versa and switch it up.
See, and I asked you that for a real particular reason, right? And the reason I asked for that is those four pieces, right? Those are four players that are going to be entrenched in the middle of that defense.
Exactly.
Right. And then the starters on the outside, you're going to have Max and Yannick. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind them, you got Carl Nassib and
Kuntz.
You're going to have Malcolm Kuntz come off and be a little – he's going to be that speed edge guy for you. But then you're also going to have Farrell probably come in and play a little bit on that side, and then you're going to try to work him in. And then don't forget, you still got Solomon Thomas.
So I'm saying that to say this, right? We got several players on the defensive line that are better than number 99. Several players. Like we named 6 different players before we named a spot that Cleve Farrell was going to take up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Care where you're drafted at. I don't get into that bust shit too much.
Yeah.
When you got 5-6 guys on the line that are better than you, they play and you don't. And that's the way that it should always be.
Absolutely.
And then you wonder what's his purpose really? Like, what is he on the inside? He's not half the player of any of those other guys. No. And so outside, he's third best at best. He's a liability at that point. He's a liability. Malcolm, him, and we've never seen him play an NFL snap.
Hold on, say that again. You went like in and out right there.
What's that?
You went in and out one more time, man. Come on. Damn. All I saw was eyes. I just saw Corey just cheesing his ass off. But no, I know somebody. You know, I know. Hold on, let me see if I can try to get him back in. Cause like, I mean, like we're having a good discussion right here, and I'm loving this shit, man. But,
it's flowing.
I know, you know, I know this did stick out to me.
Didn't he get a sack in his last game?
The week two he got a sack. Yeah, Malcolm Coons got a sack, but it got called. It got nullified because of the damn penalty. Because I don't know, Roswell Douglas did some stupid shit. I told you do them stupid ass penalties. That shit's gonna get you hemmed up.
It's gonna get you cut.
And you know what's wild? He went to Houston and got cut with less than a week. But my whole thing is, I'm not gonna say that Clelin Ferrell's a liability, because if you look at the way the defense is designed by Gus Bradley,
he fits a role.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that. Oh, he's gonna be playing about 89 to 90% of the snaps. It ain't gonna be nothing like that. To be honest, with Gus Bradley's defense, you might see Clelin Ferrell playing about maybe at most 65 to 70%.
At least of what we expect to see out of what we expect to see out of it. You never know. They could go into a 3-4, and he could be the what is it, the 5-7 technique out of the 3-4.
Yeah,
and that could be his role. And so when you look at him, like I said earlier, he's great in setting an edge. He's good at run defense. He's good enough to be on the team for that alone. He has value, but it goes back into that draft stock, or where he did not control where he got drafted.
No, that's why I gotta tell that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh man, you taking that 4 year. I'm like, that's not his decision.
No,
he can't deny it. They pick him.
I mean, he at this point he was the beneficiary of their incomplete scouting, let's say, and he's made several more $1 million in his career than he probably will at his next juncture because of it.
Yeah, that's what we were just literally saying, Philip. Yeah, Bradley runs the rotation.
We're taking over. One field.
No, right? Exactly. You gotta keep the players fresh, and that's the whole thing with Bradley's defense. You got to keep guys fresh. If you don't keep guys fresh, then you're going to deal with a hand pile of injuries like you dealt with plenty other times. But that's what I wanted to pull up real quick. See if
And while you're talking about that, I had seen Lindell had brought up about talking about the starters not playing. And as much as you want to see the starters play, with the changing of the schedule, the removal of the fourth game, and the adding of a regular season game, you have to look at the big picture. You need your guys for meaningful football games. Now the Raiders hindsight is always 20/20 when it comes to this thing. And before the Raiders and Niners took the field for their last preseason game, J.K. Dobbins of the Ravens had already had his knee blown out and his season ended. The Ravens lost their number one running back, a guy who figured to be at the top of the league in rushing this season, in a meaningless football game.
I'm going to be real, Phil, and this is what I'm going to explain to you. And this is why I say that having Clelin Ferrell is still viable. You still got a solid rushing attack with the Ravens. Guess who you got week 2, Phil?
Pittsburgh.
Najee. You got Najee Harris.
Big Ben. Anthony McFarland.
Yep. Week 3, the Dolphins. I say, what's dude's name?
Myles Gaskins.
Gaskins. You got Gaskins. Then you look at the Chargers. You got Eckler. The Bears. Because you don't know how they're going to be using. using things. They might be using the quarterback to
Bears
do
line
trick
is
plays.
trash. Their biggest thing is going to be trying to contain Justin Fields because I believe he'll be starting by then.
Because let's see, all right, and he's going to be trying to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, because he might have no choice because that line is awful.
Let's continue. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders. The Giants, you got Saquon Barkley.
Well,
the Chiefs rushing attack.
There you go.
Have Nixon, you got to deal with the Bengals. The Cowboys.
Yep.
You got Zeke.
Yep.
Washington with Antonio Gibson. I can keep going down the list. And you got Cleveland with that nasty Russian at two-hit beast. Do I need to continue, ladies and gentlemen?
Please do. I want to hear it all. Give it all.
You saw how the Colts ran over us the year before. And then you also look at what the Broncos grabbed. Williams from out of North Carolina. And I want you guys to look at Williams from North Carolina, their running back, and what he did those past couple years. He was running he had about 200-300 yard games.
You could look at him in the preseason. He should be starting for
He was running like hell. He was running people over.
Crazy. Running by him, running them over, just being a hog out there.
So the fact of the matter is what I'm getting at, having guys like Darius Fireline, having guys like Gerald McCoy, Quentin Jefferson, having Jonathan Hankins, and then still having Cleve Farrell. Maybe Cleve Farrell is not your so-called, as folks have been saying, elite edge rusher. No, he's your basic defensive end that can control the outside by stopping the run.
In every sense of the position, he's a defensive end. We get hung up on this edge rusher, edge defender. He's a old school defensive end.
Exactly.
That play. I think his highest upside will probably be Willie McGinnis like. Not quite Willie McGinnis, but that particular style. So it's not going to be all flash. It's going to be grimy, but it's going to be what you need to get over the hump.
But, overall, the fact of the matter is with the Raiders defense, they got some challenges. And not just the defense, but the offense as well, You got to go against that Ravens defense, that Steelers defense. That Miami defense is a little can shock and awe. You got the Bears defense. You got a fresh Broncos defense you got to go against. You get some lax with the Eagles, and that Giants defense, they were a little bit of a surpriser. You can beat out the Chiefs defense. You can beat out the Bengals. That Cowboys defense, you can beat them out. But that Washington defense,
they got Dan Quinn and a revamped linebacking.
Sir.
Let's watch out.
Sir. I believe a pile of baby shit is better than that defense.
We'll see.
Now, Washington's defense, you better play the Omen music, okay? I mean, I'm going to be real. We got to deal with that Washington defense. Yeah, if anybody know the Pope, call him so he can bless everybody, please.
I think that won't be as bad as long as Colt Miller is there to man up on Chase Young and you can slide.
Chase Young lines up on out. He switches sides. It don't fucking matter.
No, well I just don't want to see Chase Young up against Leatherwood. That frightens me.
Bro, I'm gonna be like, oh boy, that was in Apollo Creed's Ringside. Throw in the damn towel.
Stop the fight! Stop the fight!
I'm not too sure about the Colts defense, and I'm gonna be real. I'm not sure about the Chargers. All right, now I'm gonna have my win-loss prediction for all 32 teams, And I'm gonna have a lot of F-bombs at me, but I don't give a damn. People are gonna hate, but you're still reading that shit, so that's all that matters. But the one thing I will say this, that Ravens defense is getting old. And I feel like the window out. I was talking to Scott Gilbranson. That window is closing. Or really, it has closed. I don't think the Ravens are the same guys anymore. You look at Calais Campbell, he's about to turn 36. Derek Wolfe is getting up in age now. Williams inside, that's the real threat, in my opinion. You just gonna have to double team that son bitch. Take his knees out. That linebacking core, you got Patrick Queen, but everybody else, I'm not too sure about. And then you look at their secondary, I don't think they're the same. You got, Humphreys and Peters, but, time flies by and guys are not going to be at the same top shape. I ain't going to put down Peters. He done some shit where I'd be like, damn.
Listen, even if he remained what he was, you got enough of the rest of their defense that isn't. And they were built off pressure, defensive line getting to the quarterback, occupying blockers to free up the linebackers to make plays. And like you said, I'm not gonna count nobody out till I see him, but you said Father Time is undefeated, and that front line.
And that's a lot of guys in their 30s, bro.
In their mid to late 30s.
Yes.
And one of the things that was the focus of the Raiders' youth movement was getting guys who could fire out of their stance and get up the field, and that will play a factor against the older defensive linemen. They may have technique and they may have knowledge, but they don't have youthful exuberance.
What do you call it? Who was from the Ravens that went over to New England?
Judon.
Matthew Judon. Now Judon has stayed. Oh shit! Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna have to go double tight end set for a little bit. But I say this: I think the Raiders have a fighting chance against the Ravens. Oh, wow. Wolf will be 31, and then Cam will be 36. And Derek Wolfe ain't never really scared me, even back when he was with Denver.
No.
So it was always Calais Campbell, because that month it was like he came through like.
Wolf is solid. I'll give him his propers. I'm not gonna belittle him. Wolf is solid.
But when it came to pass
rush changer,
run defense, yes. Pass rush, no.
Yeah, he's solid. He's not a game breaker.
Yeah. But other than that, I feel like the Raiders have a better fighting chance against the Ravens this year than what a lot of folks are putting them out to be. I think a lot of folks are saying that, they're going to get obliterated. They're going to get blown out on Monday night. I don't believe that's going to happen. I honestly don't believe that shit. I know I'm one of the main folks that is hard on Derek Carr a lot, but I believe Derek Carr is actually going to have success. He's going to have some success this year. He's going to have success in that win column and that touchdown interception ratio as well.
We could keep it to the Ravens, and I'll offer this, and we'll have more coming up closer to the actual game week, especially when we do it from Vegas. And in terms of Baltimore, I like the way that our team matches up against the Ravens this year than it has in years past.
Yeah,
I like where our defense. I like the composure that I've seen out of the second and third units of our defense. Now all we can measure is the second and third units because that's really the only people that we've seen. But if you go back to the practice at Thousand Oaks and the joint practices and what you heard from beat reporters and people who were on the field at that time, the Raiders defense was very surprising and came out and made numerous plays against the Rams offense. And they have an actual defensive coordinator who coaches and teaches defensive football. I like what they have to work with. I like who's coaching them up. And one of the things that we really have to take into consideration is the difference of this team, this 2021 defense versus the 2020 team. If you can get defensive pressure up the middle of the field from your defensive tackles, if they can collapse the pockets, if they can play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, then then it becomes a completely different football game, and you're no longer waiting for the offense to dictate what they're going to do. They're adjusting to what they have to do to account for the pressure up the middle. Now, are we getting ready to see the second coming of Aaron Donald and some other stuff like that? I doubt it. But if it's significantly better than it was last season, it will make everything around it better.
Nah, definitely. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep going into more of this because, we can spread this out through the week. And let's be real, we're going to probably have about 4 guys end up going into the short-term IR. And Raiders are going to look to pick up a few guys within the next 24 to 48 hours. So, with White, Morrow, Nixon, and Richard, those guys could be heading to that IR and probably be back. One of them probably be back week 2 or, week 3 or so. And Raiders need to pick up about 4 or 5 guys to just go on and just say, hey, we're solid. We're good to go. The one thing is this. Phil, I got some news.
Lay it on us.
So I'm going to be taking my talent somewhere, bro.
Oh.
Yes, I'll be taking my talents. I'm going to show you guys, hey. I'll be taking my talents to Bishop Sycamore.
Are you going to be the new defensive coordinator?
No.
Are you going to be the reporter?
No, I'm making a comeback, you guys. I'm looking to go and play for Bishop Sycamore this year. And I'm going to play their quarterback, running back, linebacker, all the above. I'm making a comeback, you guys. I'm making a comeback, you guys. It's been about 12, 13 years, but you know what? I'm making a comeback.
All over that mountains, right?
I'm signing with Bishop Sycamore, and you know what? I'm gonna show everybody what I still got in me.
You know what I'm saying? I got enough. I got enough in the tank to come out and lose 58-0.
Oh man!
I got enough in the tank to come out and get smoked by some kids.
They signed me, I was like, you know what? Let me get on this shit.
Oh man, I needed that to end the show.
Oh man, I had to get y'all with that one.
Said, as always, please like, subscribe, The Unfiltered Truth. Visit the webpage, unfilteredtruth.com. Take a look. We got shirts for sale. We got mugs. We got merchandise. We got whatever you like as long as you have money. We also have all interviews archived. You can see Phil with Coach Tom Flores. You can see him with his Super Bowl interviews. You can see all of our archive shows. You can check us on, Spotify.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, iTunes, we're on Google Play Podcasts. And yeah, this tonight's episode should be uploaded and be ready to go for you guys to listen to for tomorrow. Like I said, as always, hey, appreciate our boy Corey coming in on to the show tonight. You guys make sure you give him a follow. Check out his podcast. What do Corey call that damn podcast anyway? What that damn show? That funny ass comedy.
Big Corey podcast.
Is it the Big Corey podcast?
It should be now because that's what we called it. So if he calls it something else, well, then that's his loss.
Yeah, it's the Big Corey podcast.
Big Corey
Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys this. Y'all need to catch that shit. Them episodes are fucking hilarious. I'm gonna tell you this. They're hilarious. Wow. Hey, look, the night that he was handling that swinger party, and he dealt with like the guy that was about 6'4", 6'8" and shit, standing right behind him. The little brother, like a ninja and shit, bro. Yeah. Hey, let me tell you something. You're gonna love his episodes. Check it out if you need like a good laugh on your way to work or trying to get home. You stuck in traffic. Big Corey podcast. You guys gotta check that shit out. All right. But as always, you guys can check me and Phil Robinson on Twitter. I'm Phil Jones NFL. That's Phil Robinson III on Twitter. This is the Unfiltered Truth. We're gone. I'm tired. I haven't slept in the past 24 hours. I've been on a roll. Good night. Love you guys.
We're out.